No politics here.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the best podcast in the world, No Politic here. And good friend of the show, Noah Sampson, has joined us for his second ever official episode appearance. Noah, thank you so much for being here. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Thanks for having me again, fellas. Excited to come back here and hopefully not say anything too incriminating to myself like last time, but excited to have some fun and
What did you say last
talk
time?
about some stuff. I don't know. What did I say last time? I better not repeat it until things are better. But
Right, that never happened. That was a dream. Nobody actually did that. It was a hallucination.
Dumbass. But yeah, no, definitely glad to be back. Love the show and
Thanks,
love
man.
you guys.
Chris, how you
Most
doing, man?
handsome podcast in the world.
I am pretty good. I've still got a chest infection, but it's not so hot in the UK anymore, so it feels a lot better. Just it's not so oppressive in the heat, you know. I'm sure it's not much compared to what you live with, Noah, but it was like 30 degrees here, which I think is like, I don't know, maybe 88 or something Fahrenheit. And my God, if you ever visit England and you experience that heat, you'll understand why it is oppressive. And when you don't have AC, it sucks.
Yeah, I did not follow the heat wave too closely, but I know the AC issue became, I mean, like how many people died in France from it? Like quite a few, right?
Yeah, I think it's like 1,000 excess deaths in France actually so far from the heat wave. It'll be a lot of old people and stuff. I feel like more places in France have it than here, but then obviously whenever I've been to France, you know, it's like on a holiday and stuff, so I don't really remember too well. But I mean, it is a worrying thing because AC obviously eventually heats up the like it's bad for the climate. And there are natural solutions. Like, I don't know, when the Middle East was experiencing its worst heat wave, some of the cities like Sana'a in Yemen did way better because they were built architecturally to withstand heat. And that's also a major problem here. Like, architecturally, we're built to keep in heat as opposed to keep it out because obviously England historically is a pretty cold place. So we're just not equipped for it at all.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're feeling better.
You're probably used to the heat there, Noah, eh? Like I wouldn't mind having a lot of heat. I would play more tennis, to be honest.
Yeah, I love it. I'm in Southern California, so it is very often very hot. I live near the ocean, but like inland enough to where it stays pretty hot, and sometimes it's super hot. You know, like 100. And I guess it's a little more rare because like the further inland or further towards the coast you go, the more like fresh air you get, the cooler it is. And so it's, I don't know, it's nice, but it is, if I don't wear sunscreen, I will get cancer within this week kind of thing. So
I was playing tennis last week, and I remember last time we spoke, you told me to send you clips of me playing tennis. So I was playing with this guy, he's like a buddy. And I was kind of feeling myself. I was like, fuck, I better send this to Noah because I'm on a roll right now. So I set up the camera and I'm shit talking in the camera. And I'm like, no, I'm going to fuck this guy up, dude. And I'm like showing him, getting real cocky. He 40 loved me in like 75 seconds. I have no idea how he knew he was being recorded, but I don't know what happened, man.
It's
so
probably actually more you on camera. You realize that because Noah, you've played some games on stream. I feel like I'm much less capable at playing games when I'm doing it on stream because you have people watching and you're mindful of like fucking up a bit and you're like, oh, I want to do something right.
Tennis is already that game of like, if you have anything on your mind other than playing the point, you'll fuck up.
You know what was on my mind?
Having a camera on you is, I get it.
What was on my mind was the fact that I was extraordinarily caked up and the camera angle was just my butt. So I was like, fuck, Noah's gonna think I'm like super caked up. And then now it kind of got in my head and then I never sent it. So I gotta find a different angle.
I would still like to see it. But yeah, that's a bummer. I hope you get a better clip next time.
Literally
Do you
a
watch
bummer.
it? Noah, do you watch tennis at all?
I was for a while. I haven't. Honestly, I was super into Carlitos, the Spanish guy, Carlos Alcaraz. Like, I thought it was so cool watching him play. And then he started losing. And then he got hurt. And so I stopped watching for a little bit. But I do like watching it. I do. Like, Wimbledon has all the old matches in really good quality on YouTube. Yeah. And so, like, if you get into that, I feel like that's I watched Challengers and then I saw some of those videos and then I started playing and that was it. But I haven't been watching lately. I know Wimbledon starts soon though.
It started today. I didn't realize, but
Oh, nice.
my sister is a really, really big tennis fan, like watches everything, like every single match that she can. And I didn't really care for it for years. I remember I loved it when I was a kid. I remember when Andy Murray won. I was actually watching that on YouTube when he won the final point. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a much bigger football fan, which I'm guessing, I know Isaac doesn't care about, but I'm guessing you're not watching the World Cup either.
I have been. I actually, my like friends here are super into. I mean, I don't know. Are they calling it football? No, they're kind of leaning into soccer here. I think because it is called that in other places outside of America. I think, but it's a huge thing here, and like the World Cup. And I'm surprised. Like the other day, there was this there's this like big screen outside in the public at this beach in San Diego, and they play all the games, so like all 4 daily games on this huge screen, and you can go and just hang out. You don't have to even like buy anything or whatever. It's like free, which is surprisingly not un-American, because like we're there, we just get in and are hanging out, and the drinks and food aren't even that expensive. But then you watch the game and they're doing hydration breaks to make money off of AdSense because we are a sick, twisted society, and then it's a little bit contrasting. But yeah, I've been watching it.
From the outside looking inwards, it really does seem like that. So what you're saying really shocks me because, of course, so much of the discourse about the World Cup, and I think it's very well-placed discourse, has revolved around, there's a lot of strange stuff going on, like price hiking. If you compare the prices even to something like the Qatar World Cup, it's insane, where you'd expect like a Gulf country to have high prices. The prices of transport and all of that shit. It's kind of fucking ridiculous, but I'm surprised that they're showing it for free. That's exciting.
Communism. That's communism.
Yeah, it's literally strangely randomly communism. But I mean, everything else about the World Cup here is just sicko stuff. But I've never seen it this widely like, I don't know, like viewed, definitely in America. So I guess that's cool. But
I saw someone making the point. I'm not a big fan of the US, obviously, for obvious reasons. But someone was making the point that if the US go far, it is actually kind of good because the American audience is so big and it serves to make football bigger as a global sport. And so that's a positive thing. However, simultaneously, I don't think the US will win, but I don't know. Is there like a lot of jingoism and patriotism when the US is playing?
Oh yeah. I mean, USA chanting was happening a lot at the game. I went to the USA game, and I, of course, I'm sitting there like, these fucking imperialist dogs are just gloating in bread and circus over bread, or whatever that one quote is, and this is like so embarrassing. But by the third goal, I was like, USA. Okay, like USA, like a little bit, because it's more of a communal solidarity thing. And I mean, I live in the USA, but I live very close to the border of Mexico, and there are pockets of where I live that are more homogeneously white, but there are also very diverse pockets. So when you're there, you're like, okay, like nationalism, I'm aware of the arguments, but also in this moment, it's kind of like fun to come together with like a group of people. But I chill on the USA chants a little bit. It's too reminiscent of other times that's been chanted.
It's funny because when Bosnia and Canada was playing, I was rooting for Bosnia. I was like, fuck, come on, Bosnia. They tied, luckily.
Yeah.
Did Bosnia go out last night? Did
I
Bosnia
think so.
play? No. Bosnia haven't played yet. Bosnia are playing the US next. South Africa went through last night, so that'll date whenever Say again?
Didn't Bosnia just take a L? Maybe was it 2 days ago?
Bosnia lost a couple of games, but they got through, and they're playing the US next in their next game. So,
hell yeah!
And Canada just went through last night. They beat South Africa, so it's very exciting for you, Isaac.
I was also rooting for South Africa. I'll be honest.
Really? I wouldn't. I've never met a nice South African, mate. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
the song.
I know the song.
Do you know
Didn't that group? I never met a nice South Africa. Yeah, that song.
Oh, I've heard.
Like puppets.
Yeah. It's from
they also
Spitting
have
Image.
that group. They also have like a puppet kind of joke about Yitzhak Shamir too, right? Like
Yeah.
They have like
The question time. The mastermind where they're asking him what his occupation is, and he goes the West Bank and Gaza. It was pretty. when people say that kind of comedy wouldn't be made, that kind of stuff wouldn't be made today. They do mock Netanyahu. They actually restarted it, but it's not quite as biting because obviously back then, liberal mocking of Israel was a bit of an oddity, whereas now, like, everyone's kind of aware that Netanyahu's pretty fucking bad. So it's a bit different.
So, Noah, you've been kind of going after Zionists online and making really, really educational, really entertaining videos, I will say.
Thank you.
How is that? How's that process, getting back into that? Because I love when you do this type of content. It's always been like a favorite of mine. So it's nice to see you get back to what you're good at.
It's I'm feeling like really good about the latest few videos. For one reason, I mean, majorly just that there's a certain amount of consistency that I've been able to figure out how to do, because throughout YouTube I've been, pretty inconsistent. I'll go long breaks without posting, and there's a few reasons for that, but mainly I feel like I've figured it out in the recent months. And yeah, I mean, these latest ones are kind of like leaning back into that, using internet culture and using prominent social media figures as a jumping off point by highlighting their rhetoric, and then bringing this steering this audience over to like, look at this photo of the thing this guy said didn't happen. This actually did happen, and he's lying to you about it. And you should know that we're helping Israel kill kids, and we're killing kids. And he thinks it's okay because he doesn't think that you'll see this, but I'm showing it to you. And so like that general, I think, like structure of a video, I think I don't know. I like doing it, but it's also, I've had my issues with it in the past. I've probably talked about it on here about like, how effective it is if people are still in the mind frame of drama when they're coming in. But I know there's people in the middle, in between the rats that came running into my comment section after Asmongold did a response video, the thousands and thousands of them. There's, some among those group that are going to see what I talked about and think about it, even if it's just a little bit, and that's worth it, I think.
Yeah. The drama as a vessel for a broader political point, I don't think that that's necessarily bad. I've actually had Palestinian friends reach out to me, say, whatever you need to do to get eyes on this plight, do it. Do it. If the end goal is more people become anti-Zionist, and you use, say, Asmongold as this vector to convince people to become anti-Zionist, I see a positive here. I see a positive conclusion. So
there's definitely a huge amount of like chudded out people who are clearly can be turned to supporting Palestine. I mean, it's already happened already. And if you can use Asmongold as a way to already appeal to some disaffected right-wingers and maybe even get them to start thinking about Palestine differently, even if they already don't like Asmongold for being pro-Israel, if you can convince them to start thinking about it in perhaps a more positive way then rather than exclusively through a right-wing lens, that's also a good thing to be getting up to, And I think, unfortunately, the way these algorithms work, they really do appeal to this kind of stuff of talking about the other side as opposed to exclusively what we may always want to talk about.
Like focusing in on what they are saying rather than building on sort of a more 100%. Grounded political. Yeah.
100%. I remember like doing TikToks, stitches were always the thing that would garner the most viewers. And I remember people would be like, can you debunk this person? And I'd be like, they have a way smaller platform than me. Initially, I was like, I don't want to send over hate. Later on, I was like, I don't care about that. I was like, I won't give this person exposure. But, the thing is there's just like people on Instagram, people on TikTok, people on wherever, just doing absolutely insane shit. And I think it's worth talking about, Israel clearly views this whole space as a great place to be influencing people. So why not engage with it?
Yeah, I mean they're about to put up a $1 billion for it, so it is something they're paying attention to. And like the smaller creators thing, 100%. I always has had the mindset that like, you want to just punch upwards. First of all, because it's you're just not singling somebody out that's smaller than you, but second of all, because it is a way to get your perspective in front of more people. But when it comes to some of these Zionist influencers, I don't care how big they are. They're fucking Nazis. They're actually insane. And like any time a video comes up with any sort of traction, even if it's just a little bit, it needs to be just crushed, completely crushed. Even
Absolutely.
If that's just, a fun reaction video that shows how insane they are, people are going to see that and people are going to be able to tell. Like, I kind of talked about it in the recent video about this one influencer, the woman we were talking about, where it's like, if you take what Israelis are saying and just show people, like outside of the context of their Zionist social media bubble, that's it. Like the average person's be like, "Whoa, you're saying they're not starving because the mom is fat, but the kid is clearly starving." That's you're literally Hitler.
Light is the greatest disinfectant. I don't know. Even like when it comes to random. So like last week I did this live stream and I went over this Reddit meme iceberg that some like genocidal Zionist made. And at first I was hesitant. I was like, this kind of just seems stupid. Like I'm going to go over these random talking points that are just so clearly Zionist propaganda, ethno-nationalist, supremacist propaganda. And as I was doing it, and after I was done doing it, I understood the gravity of it. I was like, okay, these are actually things that people believe. People genuinely believe that a Palestinian identity didn't come around until 1967. And for some reason, that makes it okay for a genocide to take place. These are jumps in logic that need to be remedied, and the fundamental premise has to be corrected because they're often wrong. They're always wrong.
Yeah, relentless in the criticism.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so much of this as well is just like people genuinely saying some of the most repugnant stuff imaginable. You know, the person you were pointing to, Noah, like a lot of what these Israel debaters on TikTok, unlike, you know, the big Israel debaters on YouTube who are really people like Lonabox and Destiny, people like that who, you know, like Lonabox would at least have some knowledge. The things that these people are saying are like a very base level knowledge cooked in with some insane stuff. They'll start going, oh, name every Palestinian that's died. Name a person that died. I can name Israelis that died on October the 7th. And I think that the point that, you know, you kind of start to realize is that, like, the reason that you don't really know the names of an enormous amount of Palestinians who've died, and especially not just on the spot, is because so many Palestinians have been killed by Israel. And I think as well, of the two mediums, a video where you show that person for what they actually are, rather than in a debate where they can weasel around and cook up things to try and stump you, is much more effective, you know, because you really show that person for who they are. And the person who you made a video about, what was your video called again? Zionism, but make it trendy? Was that it?
Can you say who it is?
Like pro-Israel propaganda, but make it trendy.
Yeah. It's that Mia lady, right?
Mia Talius. Is that
Mia
it? Talius?
Okay.
Yes.
I was familiar with her before you made a video. She started, my Instagram feed is like, it's either Iranians who are saying like just ahistorical, utter garbage about Iran, and they are Iranians, but they like live in the UK, or it's like some mental Zionist guy going like, look, I have a passport from Palestine, and the reason I have a passport from Palestine is because Jews were Palestinians or something. It really is getting out of hand at this point.
Yeah, the I don't know, the further they grasp at straws for this propaganda, the more insane it looks. And so I guess it becomes a little, honestly, less work sometimes to debunk, because you can just, you know, very quickly deal with a talking point by also just saying it's insane because it's self-evidently insane. But then when it comes to, I guess, bigger, I mean, the Mia lady whose video that was the subject of one of my recent videos, I got recommended one of her videos on YouTube. And that's very strange because my algorithm isn't, you know, geared. My algorithm's like Democracy Now!, Al Jazeera, Hassan, you guys, and then, I mean, Bad and Not Alive, if I'm being honest. And then also just a lot of like left-leaning stuff. And so the fact that broke containment into a, you know, reviewing a Israel versus Palestine debate, and she's just a full-on like genocidal Zionist, it was a little odd to me, and it wasn't sponsored or anything, even though Israel's paid for, you know, starvation denial, you know, sponsorship campaigns. It's like this was just organic on my timeline, and that was a little worrying. So I feel like, yeah, just confronting it, especially in the way you mentioned, not live. I think that's a huge thing, to be able to really look at each statement and then, you know, research a little bit more, take the time to articulate it in a way that makes it, you know, unassailable, or as unassailable as it can be. And I mean, yeah, the recent video with about Asmongold, it was like watching him react to that. there were times where I felt like I did that well, and then there were times where I was like, oh, if I would have done it this way, it would have made him look even more insane while reacting to it and being unable to respond, like just being completely glossing over any mention of evidence of civilian targeting. Like the more evidence you give, the more quiet he's going to be for the 10-minute section where I'm doing that, and that just looks crazy. So I think, being able to break it down rather than live, because I don't know, some debates are good if you're a really good debater, but generally I think the platforming argument is much weaker in those moments than it is in just sort of an essay format,
Well, the other thing, there was one thing that I was like, because I watched your video, like I pre-watched some of it because I watched it on my stream yesterday. But when I pre-watched it, I was like, oh, there's one thing that I think that I would have just highly recommended that you had in there. There's a doctrine from 1996 in Israel. And of course, like when anyone watches someone else's video, you can think of something or think of a new angle that perhaps they didn't have. But there's a doctrine from the Israeli Air Force. It used to be on their website. They removed it. They said, like specifically in Grapes of Wrath, that their plan was a massive bombardment campaign of southern Lebanon so as to force the population north and pressure the Lebanese government and Syria to rein in Hezbollah. That's exactly what Israel is doing now. They are doing a mass bombardment and ethnic cleansing campaign in the south to pressure Lebanon into signing the horrifying agreement that they've signed right now. It is a specific thing of targeting innocent civilians. Like I was thinking about this today, because you do literally have Israeli soldiers on the ground who take pleasure in murdering children, women, men, innocent people, like 100%. For example, the Netzer Yehuda battalion, which is the ultra-Orthodox battalion, they are like known as some of the most violent violators of human rights, torture people to death and kind of shit like that. But it's pretty evident that like this stuff is undeniable,
Oh yeah, like you can lay out all this evidence and then someone like Asmongold will either just not respond to it, or they will respond by saying that's Hamas propaganda, or they'll respond by saying he's brainwashed by the Ayatollah. I got one really good AI image of me like embracing Khamenei, and it was like all glossy and like we were in heaven, and I was kind of nudging him, and I got one of those sent to me, and I thought it was beautiful because that's the conclusion from a lot of these fans. But also when the average or like the middle ground person will be exposed to that, when you say that no, this was their plan and they've used this plan before and this is their stated plan, this is actually what they're saying they're doing, and then now they're doing it, it becomes much more difficult to sort of write off as just Qatari propaganda or whatever.
For sure.
100%.
Absolutely.
And all we have to do is take these things not as just isolated incidents of bad violence, but rather structural things. And you see, Israel's not denying food because it's an evil state. Yeah, Israel is evil and it's immoral and it's unjust, but Israel denies food and really, really manipulates the amount of food that gets into Gaza for the specific reason of making life impossible. It's why they don't allow waste clearance. It's why they don't allow sewage systems to go into Gaza. It's all this concerted effort, which is been enunciated by Netanyahu and is regularly enunciated by Smotrich and others, that they're going to encourage voluntary emigration, which is just a euphemism for ethnic cleansing. The Nazis very often, specifically about Jewish people, spoke in coded language in official documents about what they were going to do to them. And they were like, transfer, we'll just transfer them. How that was going to happen, they didn't really say. And the Israelis do these things, and as structures, it's evident.
David Ben-Gurion would do that too. And Nur Masala's The Concept of Transfer in Zionist Political Thought, I think it's called. The Expulsion of Palestinians is one of the titles. He openly goes over this, and he shows how the early Zionists and David Ben-Gurion would explicitly use transfer as what was understood to be a stand-in for expulsion, ethnic cleansing. And we could even just look at what they did, right? Like the actions. So it doesn't even matter
100%.
rhetoric-wise. You could just see what happened. But the thing with like Asmongold and all of these guys who will watch these videos and react and just kind of come off with some sort of deflective talking point, there's always this like concerted effort to actually ignore the structural issue, to ignore any of the history that makes the issue what it is today. So in Asmongold's conception, the issue is Hezbollah. Again, Hezbollah is a symptom of Israeli aggression. Hezbollah didn't exist when Israel invaded Lebanon in 82. It existed because Israel invaded and then stayed there for 18 years. So again, there's always this thing where Zionists are trying to find a military solution for a political problem. You get rid of Hezbollah now, you disarm Hezbollah now. The desire to resist occupation and aggression stays. You're going to have another Hezbollah. So for as long as we ignore that reality, nothing will really change.
The trouble I found with that video was going from a place of just fully right-wing, this is terrorism, just racist propaganda, to the place where I say resistance is justified. That's like quite the leap to make, as opposed to going from, right-wing to a liberal conception of follow international law and which I guess, that's coherent with liberalism, but at the same time, you can only pull someone so far in one piece of work, and I feel like that was, if you watched it, I'm curious if there's any other feedback or any ways, or what you would advise, generally with this kind of thing, to how to make it more effective, either of you guys. And real quick, I need to let my cat in the room. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
She just wants to be next to me.
Oh. You should have been, I can give you some tips now. You should have had the cat in the video. You should have made the videos trendy and been like, yeah, I'm from Israel. Oh my God. And really got in some Mia Talia stuff. And,
so get even bangs and then do surgery, be beautiful.
I do like your hair a lot. The new hairstyle you're going with looks good.
Oh, thank you. This is just, I shaved my head and dyed it, and then I never did anything else to it. So I'm going to shave it again soon, probably. It's a pretty affordable thing. You just buy the bleach and it's like $10, $12, and then I already have the buzzer. So free haircut.
It looks good. The only thing I was going to say was, you said it's easier to get right-wingers to agree with maybe more of a liberal argument, and that argument being, well, follow international law. But armed resistance to colonial aggression is legal under international law.
Yeah, that's true. 100%.
It's I guess domestic American YouTube law about supporting resistance that is the more difficult line to toe. Yeah. But international law definitely.
I think also I think maybe where the ground lies amongst right wingers, and this is just a guess, is there are actually quite a lot of thinking right wingers on Palestine who I don't agree with everything they say, but you can find them. There's a guy called Matthew Petty on Twitter. Matthew Petty is a right-winger. Trita Parsi, I think, is kind of right-wing as well. There's something called the Cato Institute, which a guy called John Hoffman is really prevalent in. The Cato Institute is a right-wing libertarian think tank. If you read their pieces about Middle East policy, they're thinking pieces about kind of what Tucker Carlson is saying, not to compare the two, but to actually realistically say it of hi, Israel is not a reliable ally and our understanding of the Middle East is really not good and the way we behave. And as America first, right? And I know I kind of wanted to mention one thing. Asmongold kept saying, I'm not interested in your sand wars in the response to what you're saying. Obviously, some deranged racist shit. But simultaneously, first of all, you clearly are interested in the sand wars as you described them. But second of all, right, you say you're America first, you say you care about it. Why are you still of the opinion that you should outsource foreign policy to this country whose only solution for everything is, I'm going to go to war to smash these people, and then fails to smash those people and very often produces problems to themselves that then blow up at the world's faces? Iran. How's that look for the global economy? I think that is maybe where the ground lies for those who are reachable.
Yeah, the appealing to American self-interest in regards to tax dollars and strategy. I go ahead, Isaac. You were going to say something?
Well, I was going to say the right-wingers that do seem reachable on this are the libertarians, right? Not necessarily the neocons. So the Cato Institute, that's a libertarian think tank. A guy like Dave Smith. Dave Smith is pro-Palestine, for a lack of a better term, because he's a libertarian. So this comes from fiscal concerns as opposed to necessarily anti-imperialist concerns. But again, I guess you take what you can get.
Yeah, 100%. Sorry, no, I'll wait for you to say something just because.
No, it's I'm just putting her on the desk so I can have constant contact so she won't like
Aw.
chew on my Ethernet cable or something. There's a little bit.
Is that
right
what
now.
she wants? Is that what she's meowing about?
She just meowing to get attention. That's all. She just needs to be
Aw.
next to me. Okay, she sat down now. We're good.
That's cute.
But yeah, no, this is like it's a very opportune moment to garner support against Israel. And regardless of, I guess, the methods when it comes to political argumentation or like the angle you're taking, I think pulling people away from the conception, whether it's through you don't want your tax dollars going to bomb kids, which is perfectly, I think, reasonable, although it is in a way, you know, why not just not bomb kids because it's wrong to do that? Well, some people need more. And like meeting people where they're at, I've always been it's been a difficult thing to me because I'm like, why do I have to involve your tax dollars to make you not want to bomb kids? But I guess that's just how the average or generally maybe more right-leaning Americans are. And even for, you know, liberals and Democrats, it is a more compelling argument to just say you're funding genocide for the few that actually say genocide, right? But still, it's I feel like I had something else, but yeah, if you guys got anything on that.
I was just going to say, I don't even think it has to be that tax dollars argument anymore in some ways, because you look at someone like Tucker Carlson, right? Not an endorsement of him, but like Tucker Carlson is properly talking about the suffering of the Palestinian people. Sure, he's not really against the state of Israel in a way that I would like, but he is genuinely talking about the suffering of the Palestinian people and what's being inflicted on them by the Israeli state, you know, in a way that you wouldn't expect out of most degenerate racists. And so maybe like Asmongold is like that last the last Japanese guy still fighting World War II. He
literally was talking about Iran. He was like, we need to go in there and regime change. I'm like, brother, that ship sailed last week. Were you not paying attention?
I also don't get the thing of like, we don't care about your sand wars. And once again, using his term, how do you think that those sand wars became things that you were dragged into for a really long time that actually created the disdain around the foreign policy that you want? Iraq, Afghanistan, those are the two biggest examples. What was Syria was also obviously not so directly American involved, but it meant American assets were in the Middle East for a long time. American servicemen died at the hands of the Islamic State. Like, that did happen. And America had to spend money. Europe had a huge amount of refugees, particularly from Syria, as a result of the collapse of a country. What do you think happens where already I think the majority of us, or like the highest amount of asylum claims, the largest percentage, come from either Iranians or Afghanis? I think it's probably Iranians, actually, number one. What do you think happens when the Islamic Republic collapses because Israel destroyed the upper echelons of power and weakened the grip? It either descends into civil war, America gets involved, or there's just an absolutely huge crisis. And so these people, there is one piece of consistency, which I think was kind of the end message of your video, is Asmongold is racist, is kind of it. Like, he's racist.
Yeah, he's consistent. There's a consistency there. There's an inconsistency in when you mention that and he denies it because he doesn't want to be called that or doesn't think it counts when the racism is based on nationality and religion, but also there's racial elements to that. But like, there's a contradiction that if you keep pointing to it becomes, or I guess, I mean, with him, there's no contradiction. And that's why, like, arguing on the grounds of morality with someone that doesn't have morality or rejects morality and embraces racism, you're not going to get anywhere. So arguing on the ground of facts and on the grounds of, I don't know, even, self-interest, like when it comes to American meddling, there's a lot of ground to cover there. But I also think with someone like Tucker, and to some extent, someone maybe a little less right than Asmongold, there is we should not bomb the Middle East because then the Muslims will come here because they're going to be refugees, and we don't want that, do we? And that, I think Tucker dips into that sometimes. I haven't been watching him that much, but I know that's historically he's a great replacement guy, and that's part of the motivation. But I also think if the propaganda he's producing against Israel is effective, then I don't know. It's tough because it's like where his motivation's actually at. I don't know, but a standalone piece about Palestinian suffering, take that any day of the week.
I do think they're both consistent. I think Asmongold, like the undergirding principle with him is just his hatred of brown and black people. But when it comes to Tucker, I think he's smarter because he understands that, okay, if we do engage in this neocon foreign policy, we're just going to create more refugees. And Asmongold will complain about the refugees and then champion the policy that creates more refugees. So I guess he's just a little bit less intelligent, obviously. But that undergirding principle is still just a burning hatred of brown people.
Right. And I guess that's something that, you by boosting something that Tucker's saying about Israel is you're not necessarily co-signing any of his outside motivations. Given the historical moment, there's a practicality there that I think might get thrown out the window when, not to say you can't criticize that things, obviously you can and should, but I think in the moment, I do think I guess you should do both. I don't know. But
yeah, it's like when Giorgia Meloni, who is very obviously a racist person, was saying, well, we should fix Africa so that we don't have more refugees. Like, does she really care about the plight of people who have been subjected to colonialism and imperialism? Probably not. But she has that personal reason to want to fix the issue. So
I think that's also actually the more reasonable solution to immigration, and actually the leftist and moral position. Like, obviously, I'm not going to organize my politics around hating refugees. I think it's dumb. I think it's low IQ nonsense. I think it's part of capitalism. I think like a low wage class of people, a low wage class of people who can be used as labor when the economy's booming. And when it's busting, they can be thrown out is a standard thing of capitalism. However, simultaneously, you should obviously fix the countries that people actually come from. But I think I was just kind of thinking about this in relation to both the Israeli propagandists that you've been talking about and Asmongold. A lot of these people just have straight up connections to governments. Like Asmongold is constantly interacting with the richest man in the world, right? Talking about this guy is really important. And the fact that so many YouTubers have cowered from it is kind of pathetic,
That's a great point. I didn't consider that. He is in DMs and replies with Elon Musk. That is, the fact that he reacted to my video, I guess it is there's a bigger audience there than I would have considered. But, I remember they were beefing for a little bit because Asmongold called out his fake gaming account and he challenged him to, I guess, demonstrate live that he could game, and then Elon Musk unfollowed him. I don't know if you guys remember that. That was
I don't remember that.
But they follow each other again now because of the Great Replacement. They need solidarity in this difficult moment for them.
You should challenge Asmongold. You should challenge Asmongold to a game of ARAM. No, wait, is that what it's called? All random, all middle. Yeah, a game of ARAM in a league. And if Asmongold beats you, you have to apologize to him. And if he beats you, he has to, I don't know, travel to Palestine and meet people there.
Join the resistance.
I think he would decline because ARAM rhymes with Arab. So.
Yeah, true. He'd have an ick, a visceral ick. Just accounting for time, do you guys want to get into the segment where we kind of go over all these Instagrammers, Zionist Instagrammers? Is that cool?
Yeah,
I'm down. I had one more discussion point, and we don't have to go into it, but outside of that, I'm down to rip some TikTok
I'd love
reacts.
to hear the discussion point first.
Go for it, bro.
It was about Israel's public statements regarding divesting from American, I guess, what's it called? American funding for weapons. American aid. And that being somewhat compatible with a line from Democrats or progressives regarding defunding Israel, in saying that normalizing the Democratic Party means normalizing an adherence to a policy that may already be undergoing behind the scenes, as in normalizing the Democratic Party's stance against funding Israel is in some sense normalizing liberal Zionism. I'm not really capturing the essence of that argument, but I saw that point of discussion raised, and I was curious if you guys had any thoughts about that, or generally the Democratic Party regarding Israel.
I mean, I saw that Scott Wiener, like I was looking a bit, I'm sure, did either of you see the video of Scott Wiener getting shouted at in the park?
Mm-hmm.
I saw it. I didn't click on it, but I bet it was good.
Someone gave me a comment of like, you should never, he's off the clock, he's an elected official. I think if you're an elected official, you should stand on business whenever you're there. Andy Burnham, who's probably going to be the UK's next prime minister, got accosted by some guy who was like, what did you do about the grooming gangs, and was getting properly in his face, and he stood up to him, and he always does it. He stands up to people. And I think that is a sign of character. Even though I don't like Burnham, I think that politicians should be made to do that. And some in the UK have actually called the police because they got letters written to them. They received like too many emails and stuff, and they had people arrested because they sent them too many emails. And sorry, this is a detraction. There was a guy who in where I went to uni, Exeter, there was a local guy, and he used to send my friend was like CC'd into the emails, and he would send the local MP emails that got like increasingly deranged. And in every email, he called him Bomber Ben because he supported the Iraq war. And so he was like, Bomber Ben, why are you supporting killing children in the first one? And then they just got longer and longer. And so I think you should be allowed to hold politicians to account. But sorry, to pull it back to the actual point I was kind of like trying to get to. This Scott Wiener guy was like, one of his policies is he doesn't actually support even giving Israel the Iron Dome for free. He's like, make Israel pay for the Iron Dome. How is that like a left-wing policy? And I know people are like, well, it's defensive. There is obviously the defensive weapons are... In fact, the defensive weapons don't even let it confront Iran. It can never cut itself off from America because America's the one who shoots down actual Iranian missiles. But without the Iron Dome, it couldn't behave the way however it wanted against Hezbollah. America has boots on the ground. This is... Yeah, I'll let you guys talk. Sorry, because I've been going on for ages.
I was just going to say, ultimately, if the Democrats not calling for a complete arms embargo on Israel, they can fuck themselves. That's pretty much where I'm at right now. Because again, if this is also just kind of like Benjamin Netanyahu's position now, where it's like, yeah, we'll pay for our military shit from the U.S. as long as we get aid in other regards. And they're saving money in those regards, so they have more money to pay for U.S. weapons anyways. So regardless, they'll find ways around it if there isn't a full arms embargo imposed by the U.S. Mm-hmm. And I don't think, well, I know the Republicans would never do that, and the Democrats are very likely not to do that. Maybe there's like a few Democrats who could be pushed in that direction if you like really fucking bug them enough, but I don't think they have any desire to do that.
I will say, the only thing about this is, I don't know if either of you saw this, Times of Israel's the person I found here, but also Wall Street Journal have reported this. As satellite images are becoming more available, Iran actually really did damage quite badly American bases in the Middle East. It's not like, I think that there's, you see people on Twitter who pretend to be geopolitical analysts, I almost called them, but yeah, analysts. And they make the claim that BRICS is destroying the West or something. And they'll say Iran blew everything up. It's not cope at all. Iran really degraded American military bases to the point where apparently America is considering moving bases west to Israel. And I think that probably America will do that. They already have boots on the ground in Israel, by the way. They man certain missile defenses. I actually think that they have a THAAD battery inside of Israel that's staffed. The Iron Dome and missile interception requires the American military. It requires ships and things like that to track the missiles. It requires American bases in the Middle East to track said missiles. So this whole notion that Israel's ever going to get away from aid, I'm not sure I buy it. I don't know what you think, Noah, but I'm not sure I really ever believe that it will happen, if you get me.
I agree. I think I'm not sure in what context Netanyahu was saying that. It seemed kind of like almost like a bluff, like when a couple is fighting and then somebody uses something as a threat that they can't. I don't know. It was weird. It was definitely out of character, but it was also like maybe we actually don't even need to be your guys' military base. Maybe we'll go off on our own. And at this point, in terms of American, political discussion, a lot of people are just kind of like, okay, is that supposed to be a threat? Yeah. But also, I think, I was just curious because it's not even a self-sustaining colony, obviously, but I was just curious about that. And I don't know if you had seen anything about that, but yeah, that makes sense.
The hubris, too, of the Israelis to think that they could just detach themselves from their mother's teat and still be able to do what they're doing in the region is hilarious. It's just the arrogance of them is astonishing.
As a Brit, I've spoken about this before. Israel treats Britain like it was a colonial occupier that persecuted them. No, it didn't. No, it didn't, not at all. Britain was a colonial occupier that created the state of Israel, not merely through words, but through actions.
And they bombed you for it.
I know.
And they bombed you for it.
Israel would not exist. Israel would never have had any chance of existing. Arab resistance would have destroyed the state of Israel before it ever begun. Ever. And now I have to deal with the audacity of hearing people explain to me how Israel did anti-colonial resistance fighting against the British. This is not coming from the position of like a British Empire lover. I think what we did in Palestine was abhorrent. But you're right, this hubris, the
brave anti-colonial Irgun doing terrorism against armed resistance against the British.
Yeah, I know. It's awful. The belief that they did something nice. They ruined us. We did so much nice stuff for the state of Israel, and look how we were paid. They call my boy Keir Starmer anti-Semitic. So shall we get on to these clips then?
Yeah, I mean, since we're kind of loosely on the topic of debunking viral Hezbollah and emphasizing the importance of doing so, fuck it, let's do it.
The funny thing is as you're saying we're about to do this, I'm now watching fucking 3 different like Hasbara clips. There's one in front of me on this screen, in front of me, the one you're showing. There's another one on the other side, and I was just watching some on my phone about why someone left Islam.
You're inundated.
Yeah, I love it. Never miss a post from Destiny.
This is
our favorite streamer.
This is where he thought he was slick, and he was giving a little quiz, I guess. These are questions that you ask any pro-Palestinian person, and they won't be able to answer according to Destiny. So, I mean, there's 3 pro-Palestinian people here. Let's see how well his theory holds up.
Sure. Who started the war in 47?
The Zionists did. I mean, if I may just kind of go on a little bit of a tangent right now, because this is kind of a point that pisses me off. What Zionists will typically do, what they'll do is like they'll point to the classical Zionist historiography, which states that the civil war in Palestine started due to an event on November 30th after the 47 partition resolution passed. And they'll point to a bus bombing, I think it was around Petah Tikva, where I think 5 to 7 Jewish people were killed. And they'll point to that event and say that that was the start of the civil war in Palestine. But funnily enough, if Destiny actually looked into what his buddy Benny Morris wrote in his most prominent book, The Birth of the Palestinian Refugee Problem, the revisited version, he would know that on page 139 of that book, he actually says that that bus bombing, that the one that Destiny is probably going to allude to as the start of the civil war in Palestine, was actually a retaliation for the fact that the Lehi killed an Arab family. So that was actually the starting point. And if he read his buddy's books, he would have probably known that. But sorry, guys.
I think also the other thing that is probably just like worth adding and saying is like Israel as a structure is premised on dispossessing the Palestinians. Like, here's a question for any of these people. What's a Jewish state? Because that's not even a unified thing amongst Zionists, right? Is it a Jewish religious state? Is it a Jewish state that has a Jewish majority, which is the normal answer? Well, how do you make that in a land that historically was not Jewish? How?
Violence.
And it's
violence.
Well, also through specifically demographic engineering through the form of ethnic cleansing.
Yep. Discriminatory immigration laws as well. Yeah. I also should probably mention it doesn't actually matter who threw the first stone during the Civil War after the partition plan, because that partition plan was in and of itself violent. Like, it gave 40% of the electrical supply to the envisioned Jewish state. It took the fertile lands, the very fertile lands, I should say. It, there's, for what reason would Palestinians who are indigenous to the region have to cede 56% of their land to a group that made up less than a third of the population and owned less than 7% of the land? It makes no sense whatsoever. So who cares who casted the first stone?
Yeah, if you start the clock right after a deal like that happens, like, which is in itself an act of aggression, then the impression is going to be different, even if their impression is still, wrong.
Also, what the UN was at that time, go look up what the UN was saying that the US could do in Korea. Like, the UN was like basically an American-controlled institution. It wasn't kind of the UN as we know it now, you know?
Yeah. Still got problems now. But
Yeah, I
know what you
know.
mean. Yeah.
Who fired the first shots? It was Palestinians.
Okay, it wasn't, but whatever. Doesn't matter if it
They would
was.
never admit that. The Nakba,
I mean, your buddy Benny Morris quite literally wrote a book about that. You should know that. You did a debate with him, but okay.
what did that happen at the back of?
What did the Nakba happen at the back of? First of all, 300,000 Palestinians were already ethnically cleansed before the single entrance of an Arab state's army into Palestine. So I don't know where this is going either.
It was a war between all the Arab states and Israel.
You guys
They
take
won't
it.
answer that. I just love the concept of presenting your information as points that no one will rebut without actually even ever engaging with that. And he did this in the Finkelstein debate. I remember this, where he would say he will never answer that question. He will never answer that question, trying to say it over and over again faster, as if like that would make his point stronger. And then Finkelstein was kind of just waiting, or he might have been yelling over, trying to yell over top of him. But eventually it was like, I'm going to answer your question, man. I don't know why that's supposed to be a gotcha. But it's just a weirdly constructed thing. But but go ahead.
Rhetorical trick, I guess. Like, because right now he's 0 for 2. Like, he's probably alluding to the Petah Tikva bus bombing as what he thinks is the start of the civil war. But again, that was retaliation for the killing of an Arab clan by the hands of the Lehi, as per Benny Morris's own assessment. And then he's saying that the Nakba happened at the back of a war, but 300,000 Palestinians were ethnically cleansed before May 15th, the war. So I don't know.
Also, once again, the problem of the Nakba is also what comes after it. The fact that Palestinians aren't allowed to return. And also, by the way, Segev as well points out that one of the things about the Nakba is that had to mean that it was pre-planned was the lightning quickness with which it was done. And obviously, a lot of Pape's work is talking about how kind of the groundwork was laid long before through things like I think they're called the village files, if I remember correctly, like how they mapped out villages. They knew what villages were like. And they actually, by the way, one of the ways they did that was by exploiting hospitality of Palestinians, by being like, hey, we're just coming to visit. And also, oh my God, what's her name? Arish Sabakhuri in Colonizing Palestine, like uses the diaries of villages that were next to Palestinian villages and reads what they had to say. Very often they viewed that eventually they'd get rid of the Palestinians. Like they knew that there was going to come some point where the Palestinians would be gone.
Yeah.
How was that going to happen? Like, what was the expectation, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Won't answer that. When you say you want a one-state solution, does that mean a one-state solution with an unlimited right of return for Palestinians?
Yeah.
They will say yes. Does that mean the Jews are going to live there as a minority?
predicted you.
They have to say yes.
Yeah. I mean, that would be the natural demographics of the region, right?
What's the
Jews
problem?
Yeah, I mean, this is also a funny point too, because what they'll say is like, well, all of the Palestinians come back. There's going to be no room. First of all, the Palestinians are the victims of settler colonialism. That needs to be corrected first and foremost. Second of all, even if every single Palestinian came back and not a single Jew left, you would still have a population density less than Singapore, less than Bangladesh, and less than Malta. So what's the problem?
I didn't actually know that.
Yeah.
I never...
So, if every single, if of the 7 million Palestinians come back to Palestine and not a single Jew left, you would still have a population density less than Singapore. So
Damn,
there really isn't an excuse
finish.
here, other than
This should be the intro clip
okay.
to the show.
Is that
honestly.
what we're doing? Okay.
Just, because they do that. It's like, it'll be black and white, there's dramatic music, it zooms in, and then it cuts, and then the podcast starts because of somebody owning somebody or sounding like they're owning somebody.
That's for like live stream clips, isn't it? But you know what? Fuck it, we'll do it.
I also
I guess that's,
I quite like the photo at the bottom of the Palestinian waving a flag in like lightning and thunder saying quiz time. Some rabid Destiny fan has just made this clip for him.
Yeah. But also, like, I just want to say one more thing. The idea of would Jews trust Arabs? Again, the settler colonists in this regard created a dynamic where mistrust could fester. And if you don't remedy that, you'll only go down this spiral of escalating violence more and more. This is also a question that white South Africans were asking each other at the time. Nearly identical question. They would say, look at what just happened in Kenya with the Mau Mau rebellion. That's going to happen here. Look at what's happening in Congo. That's going to happen here. So again, what happened in that instance was a relatively very peaceful transition to the dissolution of apartheid. So the idea that that couldn't happen in Palestine, or at least we shouldn't even try to remedy a situation to get to that sort of equitable solution, is racist and ridiculous.
I also think just having politics governed by counterfactuals as opposed to what's happening on the ground will always weird me out. Like, I don't really get... And often people are like, oh, why are your politics so governed by seeing starving Palestinians and stuff? And it's like, because that's real, right? Yeah. Like, what's happening when Jewish people have power and control? And it's funny as well, because most pro-Palestinian people don't reduce it to that because you know that they're not bigots. Whereas these people are just like, you can never trust Arabs. If Arabs had a majority, but like, what are the Jewish people doing with a majority, right?
Yeah. Hypothetical anti-Semitism means more to them than real genocide of Arabs right now.
100%.
Trust Arabs to live there as a minority and not be genocided or evicted when they were evicted.
The Jews are literally doing that. In that region, Jews in Israel are doing the genocide to the Arabs right now, and he denies it. He denies that it's even happening.
They have to do it, because if they don't, then they'll be genocided.
Yeah.
If they don't, they'll be a minority. Imagine the horrors of being a minority.
A minority of that doesn't trust the people around them.
Whoa, sounds familiar.
Evicted and kicked out of every other surrounding state. They might say something like, well, in that case, the Jews should go back to Europe or to Brooklyn. You can fight there on the historical grounds of, well, most Jews in Israel now are from other countries in the Middle East, so that doesn't work, number one. Or two, you...
Again, first of all, even if, I already been over it, but if they all came, nobody left, you'd still have a lower population density than other countries. So I don't know. This is just kind of like a straw man.
And say, why can't the Palestinians go back to any of the other 49?
Because that's not where they're from. Like, that's insane. It's like telling an Italian to go back to Germany.
Yeah.
Muslim states or 20 or so Arab states on the planet. Why do they have to have Israel? I'd be curious to hear them talk about that. There's just like a lot of...
Do you know, I learned something
They could go to
today.
Argentina. Or where else? Jamaica?
Yeah.
I
Did
learned
they
something.
propose?
I learned something today, which is, did you know that Hitler justified invading Poland because of the bad treatment of Jewish people the bad treatment of German people in Poland? I'd never heard that before. And you think about like how these people act, of like Israel has the right to do basically as it pleases wherever it wants because of bad treatment of people. And you just look at like, you know, in Iran, like they literally justify like invading Iran. And when people like just go back to other countries, the problem is if all the Palestinians went back, Israel would still be meddling in other countries' politics. That is really the major service that Israel offers the rest of the world. It's not just a floating aircraft carrier. It's how America meddles in other countries' politics in a much less direct way. And a lot of pro-Israel people will never confront that this is just a facet. Here's a question for pro-Israel people. Is it normal that there's this state which is undeniably made by European states that meddles in every other country's politics in the region?
They'll never answer that.
Popular narratives that are historically easily defeatable that I've never seen pro-Pali advocates be forced to go up against.
How, dude? Like, do you just not look into it at all? Like, they go over this shit all the time. These aren't like rare talking points, brother. You're running the mill.
This is just he wants to get in a Discord call with Hassan. That's all this means to me. He wants to yell at him.
Maybe when you cycle to Hassan's house, you should get like a little sidecar and you should bring Destiny hidden in it. Or you could have him on the front like E.T.
The helmet and the goggles. That'd be so cute. little cape on his back.
Yeah, and then once the bike starts flying, it lands on Epstein's Island. That's his power.
Drop him
it brings
off.
you straight there. It teleports straight there.
I'm dropping him off, by the way. I'm not staying, but
Yeah.
Epstein.
Are you still going to do the cycle?
That window has closed, I think. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I set the goal pretty high, and I thought it might have been possible, and we didn't meet it. Very sad. But that would have been a good finale. But I think after a week straight of streaming, it was just a little too much. Maybe one day, though.
I can imagine that a week of streaming must be hellish, even this time that you had breaks in it. Like, streaming for a whole week seems just... Whoa, it seems a lot, especially when you're streaming like 9 hours a day. I really don't get how he does it, actually, how Hassan just streams never ending, basically.
Yeah, and he has like ADHD too, I think. And that's one of the things that makes me like totally drained of energy, especially if I'm like I talked to like 30 people, like 30 different guests during that whole stream. And that is like, I don't know, it's a lot, but he does it. I don't know what, he hasn't missed 3 days in however long. That's like very, I don't even know how that's possible.
Imagine talking to 30 people for as long as you did in real life and about politics as well, or just general stuff. Like, it's an awful thought, isn't it? God forbid.
Yeah, no, because they're also, I like, if I don't know as much about them as other people, I gotta like research a little bit.
Yeah.
And I remember when I talked to Matt Lieb from Bad Hasbro, I was like, so the first thing I asked was like, so how long have you known Aaron? And he was like, Aaron. Oh, you didn't even look up the other co-host, because I was like, oh no, Daniel, I meant Daniel, but
To be fair,
it was
that's
one
an
of those
easy
things
mistake.
that like,
It's his brother.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and you know his brothers in a documentary about like the crackdown on pro-Palestinian activism in Canada back in like 2003, and it revolves around Netanyahu visiting Canada, I think. I think it's Netanyahu.
Oh wow, what is that? What's that called? That sounds
It's
really
called
good.
Concordia. It's really interesting, actually. It's about like it's in Montreal. It's one of the universities there. I'd actually highly recommend it. It's a really interesting thing of like looking back at it's like a time capsule, you know. And it was interesting to watch so long after I'd been at university and after having done like activism at university, and you know, it's draining and it's really hard to win against these institutions. And I guess that's sort of the thing that I find like so insensitive about how people like that Destiny, and bigger than him really, because he's not the main culprit of it. It's actually more the TikTok people, the people like Mia Talius, I'm sure she uses the word, when they call people pro-pallies and they act as if they're engaging in some struggle for like Israeli rights. Like, Israel's genociding people, right? People who are engaged in the Palestinian cause, especially Palestinians, have to deal with so much trauma. You know, like people who are Palestinian have family in the occupied territories. They have lives and histories there that are just constantly being subjected to violence. And then you just have these fucking idiots on the internet who are like, yeah, pro-pallies and everyone in Gaza isn't actually being starved. Ha 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 ha. Oh, ha 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 ha. And it's like, this is not funny for people in Palestine. This is a horrifying reality, you know?
Yeah, but they literally don't give a fuck.
No, this guy certainly doesn't. He looks like a bird.
Yeah, and also, why did he say the Palestinian people were invented in the 1969s? Why is he acting like there's multiple 1969s? And it's not a mistake because the caption says it too. Like, he said it twice.
That is so strange. I've never seen that. I've never seen that.
Maybe
It's
there's
awesome.
something about 1969 that certain people were able to like divide the year into like segments and have actually lived multiple 1969s.
Oh no.
Science fiction, traveling science fiction over here.
Also, sorry, I'm really interested by the top comment that's like, think that they've discovered something by apparently how if people can't, I'll have to read it because obviously not everyone will see it. 1994, shortly after signing the Oslo Accords, Arafat said in a speech at a mosque in South Africa, recorded and published, that the agreement was like the Hudaybiyah agreement. That is a temporary agreement designed to gain strength, not a final peace. Yeah, that was... The Oslo Accords were literally a temporary agreement.
It was an agreement to make an agreement. Like, the whole point about Oslo was that the interim period, the interim circumstances would be figured out later. Like, what the fuck?
My dad once told me that if you're debating someone and you pretend what you're saying is a secret, that's actually a really effective tool. And I think a lot of these people, you know, like Destiny there, the reason people lap that stuff up is like, it's almost like this dirty secret that pro-Palestinian people can't answer. I think people like this kind of stuff, you know, they like this kind of like secretive stuff that they have some secret knowledge. Everyone wants to be Galileo, right?
Debate,
Like they're
bro, trick.
hiding this from you.
The pro-pallies.
This guy's really funny. Actually, funnily enough, I'm pretty sure Lonerbox made a video debunking this guy's denial surrounding the Deir Yassin massacre.
And
This
the
is a long
Nakba.
time ago. Oh yeah, okay. I can't
Long
really
time
remember
ago.
it.
Wow.
Yeah,
But I think
He's
I think the
changed.
video was actually good, right? Like from my recollection, I haven't seen it in years.
I think he just. I don't know what happened. I really don't know. Sad.
Interesting.
Zionism corrupts the soul.
Yeah, kosher Katie. She got to him.
Historical fact about Palestine that will leave you completely shocked. Everyone is convinced that the Palestinian people is an ancient nation. But the truth is that even in 1948, not a single Arab leader talked about Palestinians. In 1950,
This is actually really hilarious because, I mean, we've been over this last episode, but 1911, they had a Jaffa-based newspaper called Palestine. You can go back to like the 1920s when they were having Palestinian national congresses and they were pointing explicitly to the Iraqi mandate and saying, we want equality with the mandate for Iraq. And if you look at the mandate for Iraq, it says that Iraq was going to become independent, become a nation state, have its own parliamentary democracy. And Palestinians were saying, we want equality with that mandate, essentially asking for what Iraq was promised. So it's very interesting to say that in the 1969s is when some sort of Palestinian identity suddenly was created.
Do you ever think your calling, Isaac, was to be a TikToker? Because you just love you love addressing debunking these people with facts and logic.
No, it's just because I get so fucking annoyed and like,
Yeah.
because I'm constantly like every day I'll wake up and I'll read. Like I'm on this like personal mission where I want to read every single book about Palestine ever written. I know it's a very hard thing to ever accomplish, but I'm really trying to do it. So that's why like when I hear these, it just triggers me back to some random page in a book, and I'm like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, you're also you right now when you're debunking it, you're talking at TikTok pace rather than in your YouTube voice.
Sorry,
Your
I'm
soothing
angry.
YouTube voice. No, it's better for TikTok. I mean, listen to Chris yell all the time. It's
Yep,
just
yep,
how
yep,
it sounds.
yep.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's
he
good.
cooks. I'm reverting
And
back
if
to
you
my
made
rapper
TikTok
phase.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Switching the flow up.
There's
Yeah,
a famous
yeah.
moment which Lonabox's audience absolutely loved dunking on me for, which is when Lonabox was like, "Can you stop shouting?" And I was like, "I'm not shouting. I just have a loud voice."
It is true.
It is true.
It is true.
Let's have a listen to what Mr. Israel,
Okay,
traveling
all right.
Israel.
Gotcha.
Ahmad Shukeri, who later became the founder and the first chairman of the PLO, stated openly at the United Nations, it is common knowledge that Palestine is nothing but southern Syria.
Chris, you want to tackle that?
I mean, we kind of
Go on.
talked about this last week, if anyone's really interested. And Zach Foster, who we had on, wrote an entire fucking PhD about this. Apparently, at that
Yeah.
time, the way that Palestinians saw out of Israeli colonization was to say, we're part of southern Syria. And there is actually some historical precedent to this, although I think realistically, Palestine would have just emerged as a distinct nation state.
Yeah.
But one of the things I always feel about this is like, what does any of this change about Palestinians being displaced and mass murdered? You know, this guy's
Yeah.
just talking shit. And imagine you rock up in Israel and this guy's giving you a fucking tour round. Sounds like one of the worst experiences in the world. He's just telling you how Palestinians don't exist. Actually, to be honest, to the people going to Israel today, that is probably like the ideal fucking tour guide.
They're paying extra for it. Crazy. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, they also saw, like, another thing worth mentioning was the government in Syria at that time was kind of packed with Palestinians, right?
Yeah.
So if their option was colonial British rule or whatever the fuck the British and the Europeans have in store for us here, or allying with Syrians, our brothers in Syria, a lot of them are Palestinian. Fuck it, we'll go for that. So it's like a tactical decision. And also the conception of like a Palestinian nation state. Nation states are European conceptions, and imposing them onto the MENA region is not going to, you're not going to see realities pop up cleanly the way they would in Europe. And the Palestinians clearly resisted that.
I also think it's kind of funny because obviously Arab nationalism affected pretty much everywhere in the Middle East. Like it touched everywhere. It even had like there was even some Pan-African qualities to aspects of it in the sense of like Algeria was involved and it spread over certain places, Sudan as well. With Nasser, I mean. The idea that like Palestinians for some reason would never have engaged with that and would have never said like we're part of something bigger than just Palestine. It's kind of fucking crazy. I don't know. Do you think you'll go back to this kind of stuff. No, not necessarily debunking like Traveling Israel, but making more videos about these sort of like out of control, like sort of TikTok racist people?
I might stick on it for a little bit. I mean, this specific thing he's talking about here, like this is one case that I enjoy the privilege of being able to like work behind the scenes, because I don't know that much about this specific instance. And so being able to research it and then make a video about it is like super advantageous. But at the same time, I mean, this guy's just kind of a creep. I don't know. I don't want to subject. I know Asmongold's bad, but this guy gives me the heebie-jeebies. He's like some kind of like lizard guy.
He does look a bit like a bird or a lizard or something. He kind of looks like Rango from
Dude,
He does.
That's it.
what the fuck?
It does.
That's
But,
pretty crazy.
Rango was hanging out in the Wild West, and Israel and its colonization of Palestine is sort of Wild West style thing.
Wow.
He was also an incompetent cowboy. This guy.
Was Rango incompetent? I thought he was pretty good. Or was he not a great cowboy? I don't remember the film.
I think he was like an imposter. Like he
Oh
got
my
framed
God.
for doing something he didn't, and then he just rolled with it. But then in the end, he ended up doing it. Somebody correct me on the Rango history. Pro Pallies don't know the history. They don't know the Rango plot points.
This
They'll
is
never
the
answer.
one question they don't want you to answer.
They'll never answer that question.
Name was given by the Roman Empire. The borders
That's hilarious because, I mean, we've been over this again last year, but the name Palestine predates the Roman Empire, and all the Romans did was they elevated a pre-existing title to administrative role, and they meshed together some provinces and made Syria Palestina. So this
I
guy's making no
also
sense.
I don't know. It feels like there's a lot more historical precedent in a state that would have been like not made by European colonizers with the history of Palestine than like this new state that was built by people who built a European style nation state there. Like, by the way, I mean, I've just been talking about it. You know, previously, like the Jewish community in Jerusalem before Zionist colonization, when the Zionists like actually interacted with them, Chaim Weizmann in particular really did not like them. And like quite a lot of colonial officials, there was one guy who was like a British colonial official, and he would like write in his diary about how much the people in the local area would just come and complain to him about the most just trivial issues imaginable. They just like come and talk to him about like, I don't know, something's gone wrong with their house and they're expecting this colonial administrator to fix it. And like in Jerusalem in particular, it was like, literally, it was just really poor Jewish people who survived off donations, I think, from the international community. And there's what the Zionist project actually specifically sought to do was to bring them under the remit. But yeah.
were drawn by the British, and the narrative was invented in the 1960s by the Soviet Union.
Yeah, Gorbachev, he teleported back to the 1960s and he created the Palestinians. If you needed one more reason to dislike Gorby, it was that.
Is that Khrushchev
Maybe-
in the background?
Yeah, hold on. Oh, fuck. How do I go back?
No, you can't go backwards. This is the problem you run into when you're trying to make videos about Instagram. You can't go backwards. Instagram Reels, fix it.
Wow, they really want you to give Traveling Israel another view. He's trying to get that meta fund.
Yeah. I certainly will be after this. I'll be traveling Israel with this guy, hopefully.
The most embarrassing proof in Arabic, there is no letter P.
Oh my God, I knew it. I knew it was coming. It's so funny because like just learning that certain languages borrow letters from other languages. First of all, in Arabic, there was they borrowed the letter F. Ancient Arabic borrowed the letter F. That's why certain words that have P will sound phonetically with an F. But then in recent years, they've borrowed the letter B. That's why you'll get like Bebzi or Bitza. So the fact that Palestinians call Palestine Falastine instead of Balastine with a B actually proves that Palestine is such an ancient concept that it predates the P to B switch. It's back when it was used to switch P's to F's. So that actually disproves his own argument.
Also, does this mean that Iranians can have Palestine because they actually have a P in their alphabet? The Iranian alphabet has more letters in, so it has a P in it, which is, yeah.
Get the
it's like
Ayatollah on the phone.
Yeah.
He's got work to do.
Khomeini's going to come back from the dead to to found a new Iranian empire in Palestine.
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean, like Italian doesn't have the letter J, or at least it borrows the letter J, And like I made this point on a live stream, but I'm like, does that mean we don't have juice? Can we not sip our juices if there's no J in Italy?
What's the J? They just say
I think it's a
goose?
G. They'll say G, like
Oh, goose.
Giovanni, but it sounds like J. I don't know. No, I don't know.
Giuliani would be Julian, right? When that must come from Latin, because
I
there
think
were
so.
people called Julian, maybe. I don't know.
think so.
Do you are you like Noah? Are you at all interested in like wider world history, or
Not honestly, yes, but there's so much to read, and I don't really know where to start. So right now, my reading list
but
is
like-
Mina history, but
sorry.
it's also, I don't know. How do I get into that? Because where do you start?
when you were at
Even-
school, were you like big into this kind of stuff, like history and stuff, or what did you just you played football and stuff, right? Or was that like your main thing at school? Or
I was more into like English. I really liked, even though I like procrastinated a lot, I did like writing essays and like reading literature and things like that. And history, I enjoyed it, but it never really got me into reading it up until recently. And I did play sports and hit my head a bunch, so that's probably a part of it. But ultimately, yeah, I think that's something I do want to get into. But
that's how I've known it, because I've heard that you have CTE from certain communities online.
yeah, I've got
and that's why
concussions
you
before.
support Palestine.
But that's that's why I will never answer a lot of questions, is that I just forget stuff sometimes. It's also why I don't really like live debates. I don't know if it's from CTE or ADHD or whatever, but in terms of like memory and stuff, it can be, I prefer reading in the background and writing stuff down, I think.
Me too.
I think
Me
it's
too.
also people are specific to certain things. Like you look at those people who are good at debating, and I think quite often they don't actually have like a deep regard and care for the issue. And this is kind of what I talked about with Asmongold, when I was like, I think someone like Asmongold finds it so easy to stream about politics, because if you don't actually care or really have a regard for what you're saying, you can just say anything, and you don't really care if you're right. And I think that that's a big help for the pro-Israel people, of like, these are not like talking points about structures. These are just dumb things of going like, this alphabet doesn't have the letter P in it.
Yeah.
And framing
They're
it
like
as
red
like a
herrings.
secret knowledge. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
debating on those terms is impossible, and I guess you hope over time, as people start to think about it more and give more care as to what they're listening to, but thinking that they'll be more convinced. But I mean, Asmongold, watching his reaction to my video, he doesn't cite a single source other than an Amnesty International article that his chat gives him in response to me citing an Amnesty International article, and him saying that that's a woke source that can't be trusted, and then him saying that I contradicted, and then
That's
him
so
contradicting himself with
crazy.
it. But all of the talking points are just like, he looks at the chat, he sees some word, and then he starts talking about whatever's in his mind at that moment. And a lot of times it's just, Bush era propaganda. And it's fascinating to watch, because I'm like, I see how this is so successful as a content strategy, because as opposed to taking 10 days it took me to like put together this video debunking these dumb claims, even if it was a short video, he has already put out 100 million views on 16 different videos from a stream where he just reads something and says it. And it's an uphill battle, certainly, but it's still worth fighting.
I think 100%. I think one of the things, though, is like, it's funny you mentioned, and I know we were kind of watching this, but I think all of these people do deep down really know that it's wrong to be racist, that it's wrong to want suffering on other people. And that's why they recoil so quickly when it's actually said to them and they're called what they are. And they're so unwilling to take on what the projects that they support actually really represent. But I think that's half the fun in it, right? Just saying anything, just like being really repugnant about other human beings is fun, because it's wrong. From a young age, that's wrong. Like kids who are horrible to others, like they're not people you want to be around. And yet these people just make careers out of it, of just sort of being horrible.
But God forbid you say something about an Israeli, then oh fuck, the gloves are off. The crime, the tears start.
Traveling Israel's going to have a video of like the anti-Semitic trope of Rango.
Yeah.
Or he kind of, I don't know if it's, he kind of looks like a plucked chicken as well.
Slightly.
Like the chicken without its feathers.
Yeah, I can see it. I can definitely see it. Here, let
Should
me
we
get
finish
another
this
guy.
one up then?
Oh, I thought. Oh, yeah.
like an hard P. When they try to
I mean, we. This is his last argument. It's just the P shit that we already covered.
Can we
yeah, I
skip
mean,
one?
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
there is a really intriguing one titled "The Palestinians Are Aura Farming for Attention."
No way. Hell yeah.
Oh,
Let's
man.
fucking load it up.
The Gen Z Nazi prop.
Okay.
Palestinians are just aura farming. They don't actually care about peace or anybody
The
else.
snapping. That's so funny.
They just want attention and money, honestly. Like, because
That's
at the end of
right.
the day, look at the leaders. The leaders are living like in palaces, and then like everybody else is just stuck.
Didn't like Yahya Sinwar die in the front lines via like drone shots or whatever the fuck? I don't know, man.
Isn't the Israeli prime minister on trial for corruption? Oh my God! Wait, do either of you know about like the corruption trial? Like I've always been like, oh, it's not that interesting. There are actually some really interesting aspects of it. So there's an American film guy involved in it called what's his name? Oh God, Arnon Milchan. Milchan. So he's an Israeli billionaire who was sending Netanyahu's wife pink champagne, right? He's been his production company made 12 Years a Slave, or it has credits on 12 Years a Slave, JFK, Heat, Fight Club, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, tons of films, okay? And he smuggled nuclear secrets out of Israel, and he's involved in this corruption trial. He's like he's like a former Mossad guy who's heavily involved in procuring nuclear weaponry for Israel or something to that effect. And
Amazing.
he was just supplying Sarah Netanyahu with pink champagne.
That's so. I saw a YouTube video how Mossad secretly produced Fight Club. I didn't click it, but I remember people talking about that, and him being linked to the corruption trial is insane.
Crazy.
Have you seen Fight Club?
Yeah.
Do you think it comes across as like Mossad propaganda? I mean, I don't know.
I can't remember. In what way?
I don't know
remember
what
either.
it would. I don't know what in it would. Would give any direct links to it. No, other than there's like a terrorist attack at the end. So,
Have you guys ever seen Swapped? It's like a newer kind of like animated movie. Swapped. Okay.
No.
Well, my girlfriend and I just randomly saw it because we kept on getting Instagram reels promoting it. Like, it's really weird. They promoted that movie by showing us like literally the twist, like a major spoiler. So me and my girlfriend watched it. And then I saw another reel like a few days after, and it was some lady making like this deep dive into how it's actually Israeli propaganda. And I was like, I have no idea how the fuck this is Israeli propaganda. I mean, the shit she was saying made sense to me, but I was like, I don't know. The movie's about like these gerbils who get their food source stolen by these birds that they teach how to acquire that food to avoid starvation. And then they pretty much face starvation because they helped the birds. And I guess like it was like a parallel there, I guess. But I was just not. I was on an edible when I watched it, so I was not putting two and two together.
I mean, it's made by David. It's produced by David Ellison. So
Exactly. She said that in the TikTok, and then I was kind of like, "Fuck! Did I just fall for Israeli propaganda via Swapped?"
It's like when someone shows a painting of Hitler, and it's like you just enjoyed a painting by Hitler. They've tricked you. Instagram have tricked you into watching Swapped.
that might be on you, bro.
Yeah, it's my bad.
In war that they created from outside, they don't care. Like, I think at the end of the day, you have to look at how societies run. They have been sovereign and on their own since 2005. They could.
Riveting
True.
dialogue here,
So
bro.
true.
In what way have they been sovereign? Are you talking about Palestinians have been sovereign since? Are you talking about the Gaza pullout or
The cage around
disengagement?
Gaza, they put that up.
Or what about the West Bank? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, I just I think this lady, from what I could understand, is like a Mizrahi Jewish person who just sort of does propaganda for Israel. And it's weird. All of this is weird. I don't know why you're doing this for this fucking state that really does not care. Like, yeah, sure, Israel is obviously a Jewish people, wherever their, whatever their background is, rank above Palestinians. But simultaneously, this whole thing of like, that state is a European settler colony.
Yeah.
She looks like she's a Christian Zionist, or at least this channel is. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It goes back to just say some shit and get 5,000 likes.
Interesting. Okay. Crazy.
I mean, it's not surprising. Who's not a big fan of the Jericho generation in 2026?
Yeah, I still get their magazines shipped to my door every month. Actually, I got a subscription. It's great. I love the physical copies.
Have spent that money that they spent on tunnels on building heaven in the desert. You know what I mean? Like on the beach. Like
why would it be?
I just
have lived.
I just feel like there's such a disconnection from reality of like the experience of Palestinians. Like, okay, surely you could just say this about Native Americans. Like, why don't Native Americans live in heaven? And it's like, well, they're still being persecuted. Obviously, why don't Aboriginals live in heaven?
Yeah, crazy. It's weird. I don't know. It's just the same old, oh, it could have been Singapore. But she's taking it to the next level, bro. It could have been heaven, dude. Fuck Singapore.
There's also, if you ever, I do kind of wonder what like is going on Instagram. We were discussing whether a lot of this might be botted. So the comments are interesting. So the first one is from Mohammed Laban that says, when you talking and you far from reality. But the one that confused me is Javid Shah, which means long live the Shah, who said fucking evil Zionist puppet, which is just interesting because why would someone who's like pro Shah not like this person? I really don't know. One has to wonder what's. No, that's an interesting one below that I don't think is worth reading. Do not show that one.
Yeah, just a little bit of racism. Alrighty.
Yeah, Instagram's an interesting place because unlike TikTok, I think Instagram's rage bait algorithm is extremely strong. TikTok, like you'll get stitches, right? You'll get somebody saying something heinous, and then you'll see something that's consumable and entertaining and like more likely you'll agree. Instagram's just devious. They'll show you, if you watch a couple, weird videos, you'll get some weird fucking videos. If you watch a couple of these, even if you don't watch them, if it knows, kind of like a Twitter for you, right? I'll see just random people yelling at each other in replies with 4 likes, but they're so stupid and annoying that I get tempted to like break Twitter silence for the week and yell at someone with like literally 0 followers because it's actual rage bait. And it's,
dude, I do
Twitter's
that.
like done a really good job with that, and Instagram too. Like this is, I mean, were you recommended this? How did you find this one?
I believe my Instagram Reels is like, I mention this a lot. My Instagram Reels has become insane because you're right about this. I mean, Instagram, I think Twitter is the worst for doing this because they've all tapped into, TikTok definitely created this idea for an algorithm, basically, of like an algorithm that serves instantaneously what you want. But TikTok used it to produce anything. Like they kind of just used to absolutely anything. X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram have, and this doesn't surprise me, Meta Zionists up there, they have used it either for the most extreme racism imaginable, or this on Twitter, which is just like on Instagram, which is just non-stop Zionist propaganda. And actually, you know what? With the amount that I'm thrown this, but I guess it's because somehow like I engage with it. I've been sending it to Isaac. I've been sending it to
my
Isaac.
algorithm too, bro. Fuck.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
But
That's why I haven't opened
your.
I saw you sent me some Instagram Reels. I am waiting because I don't want to destroy my phone.
But no, I think it just feeds you this stuff, and perhaps that's why these accounts are doing so well all of a sudden. That what's boosting them is literally just like this, like just
Rage bait.
Like rage bait.
Like a video with 5,000 likes and like 700 or like, I don't know, like a few thousand comments. Usually it's everyone yelling at them because it's like people who are pro-Palestine getting this video so that they'll get mad at it and then also yell at them, which is a good thing, because I think that probably isn't exactly the most encouraging thing for someone like that to be making a video about. Ooh, Matt Nuclear. I've seen this guy. This guy is awesome.
Do you know I've debated him?
Wait,
Have
really?
you?
I've debated this guy multiple times.
yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
actually, well, I say I've debated him. Matt Nuclear this guy's impossible to debate. And he's like, I destroyed you, because Matt Nuclear like sits and just shouts. Like, I know I have a loud voice, but like, I will still give someone a chance at the start. No, this guy is like just at your throat from the moment that he gets anywhere near you. How have you seen him, Noah?
He was on I think he did a Jubilee.
Yeah,
Yes, he did
Right?
do. Yeah,
I saw some clips and I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do the shouting nerd. I can't do the screaming Zionist nerd. Not now. Not right now. Nope. I'll come back to this. And I never do. Jubilee, I just can't, man. It's too, oof.
I will say he looks kind of pretty in this still. He looks very pretty.
He looks like,
doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got face filter on almost.
Yeah.
Beautiful lashes.
He's been having a bit of trouble recently, though, because he got a job at the Daily Wire, and Nick Fuentes really doesn't like him. So that's actually how I knew he got this job. I got a Nick Fuentes video on my Twitter that was him calling this guy slurs. But it started off, they all called him Acorn because of his haircut. That they kept saying he looked like an acorn because of his haircut.
I saw
and then
this.
he went and got a haircut the next episode of the show because they said he looked
got
like
bullied?
an acorn. Yeah, he got bullied by like the groypers came for him.
Fuck.
And
Do you know
it's a
that
tough
meme?
time.
Do you know the meme in Instagram comments where it's like trash versus garbage? Do you know that meme? That's what I'm thinking right now. This guy versus the groypers. Like, great.
Yeah. Well,
but
he's
for people-
Angolan, this guy, actually.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
he's Angolan. So he's Angola. He's from Angola. There are a couple of them. There's a Sudanese guy called Shadow as well, who was like a pro-Israel grifter. But I actually spoke to him, and he was like somewhat more reasonable than this guy. This guy's totally unreasonable. Kind
That's
of
very
crazy.
interesting.
But you know, Ben Shapiro now employs this guy. That fall off it's cataclysmic.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about
Wow.
fall offs of what happens to people in their shows. Fuck me. Ben Shapiro went from being like the biggest conservative influencer to employing this guy.
I didn't know that. It's really interesting. That's really interesting. I mean, for people who don't know if they're just listening to the audio, this video that we're about to react to is just Matt Nuclear's face, and then above it is an image that says Muslim nations versus Jewish nations, and it's basically the Arab conquests myth. The map is highlighted green, the entire MENA region, like pretty much all of northern Africa to like all the way down to Congo almost. This is a very old map. I don't know why it's
I'm surprised he used green rather than red. Usually it's flipped around.
Yeah.
Right? Like scary red.
Green is for positive. This is positive. This is the spread. This is the acceptance of global Islam that they
It
fear.
is green light, red light for that little one.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Maybe he's trying to revive Muammar Gaddafi's branding, the green Libyan flag. He's like, we need it all.
Greater Israel or Greater Islam?
Yeah,
I
that's the
mean-
caption.
Wait. Once again, the comments. Israel just try protect his home and land and people. I'm Iranian and I believe this. And Iranian people support Israel and Bibi Netanyahu and
gotta be
Israeli
fake.
people.
Israeli
fake,
people.
right?
No.
I think it's
Dude, I mean, there's Iranians on social media, the amount of botting that has turned people crazy like this, I believe it. Like that might either be a bot or like someone that was influenced by the campaigns to like talk and think like this. It's quite crazy.
yeah,
Damn.
I know. I know.
Also-
oh, sorry.
Sorry, just something just kind of popped out to me right now. This map that Matt Nuclear is reacting to, and all of the green that's supposed to represent like this infiltration of Islam all over the region. First of all, Nigeria is like a secular country. It's not a Muslim country. Ethiopia is like majority Christian. I don't know why he's making it so that these are all like Muslim countries. This is just not even accurate. I mean, why would I expect it to be?
Maybe also these people should just say like, yeah, maybe Islam is kind of appealing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's something to be said about that. Like, my friend told me this because I learned about Islam when I was in like first year of university. And during first year of university, I was just smoking loads and I was not really attending. Well, I was attending lectures, but I wasn't really listening, especially because one of our lecturers was a bit boring. But anyway, there's still loads of brilliant lecturers. But anyway, my friend was always told me this. Apparently, one of the things that Islam actually liked to do was maintain a population of non-Muslims because you could tax them higher. So actually, they didn't like always convert people via the sword. And a lot of people just accepted the religion. Like people did. It happens, you know? Like, it's, and there are things to critique about the Arab conquest, but they also happened over 1,000 years ago. And like, you think they're bad because they're colonialism. So why don't you think Israel is bad?
Fundamentally, too, these are different types of colonialism, right? Like the spread of Islam throughout the region and people converting to it is very different than the settler colonialism where Europeans go to a certain place and kill the actual people. It physically replace the actual people who live there. So like the Ottoman Empire going over and, you know, or not even the Ottoman Empire, just Arab conquests, turning all of these countries Muslim majority because those people chose to convert is very different than, you know, Europeans going to Palestine and expelling the Palestinians and taking their stead. So very
also
different
the
type
fact
of
that
colonialism.
a lot of Muslim scholars really early on were not from Saudi Arabia or the Arabian Peninsula. Like they were actually from the wider Africa, they were from like Africa and places. And there is stuff to
Whoa.
critique.
Whoa. Are you telling me Arabs not from Arabia, Jews not from Judea? Is that what you're telling me right now?
Wrestlers not from WrestleMania as well.
Liar, dude.
All YouTubers live in YouTube.
Israel is the one that wants to expand and become greater Israel. Got it.
Oh,
Go for it.
I was like, we should be good, right? That's it. That's the the way he said it. It was like, all right,
Yeah.
nice. Thank you for the video. But here he goes.
It's
still
also
going?
kind of funny how like in somewhere like Syria, where Syria is fully lain down and has been like, we're not going to fight against you. Israel's still meddling in their country. Israel's meddling in Lebanon non-fucking stop. It just never ends, bro. Like, just never fucking ends, them just fiddling around in other countries' politics. I think that's what I want to stop right now. Stop Israeli meddling.
It seems like greater Islam to me. I'm just saying. It seems like greater.
Again, this is just crazy. Like the conflation of a religion to like a nation state is crazy. So if a religion spreads, that's the equivalent of if like a nation state's borders grow and swallow up its neighbors. These are completely different paradigms that we should be operating on, and he's purposefully conflating the two. It's very interesting. And also, like you were talking about Syria, Israel has constantly been at least irredentist when it comes to Syria. Like there's this famous quote from Moshe Dayan, and what was it? What's it go like? It's during the 6-Day War, and it's when the UN puts forth the ceasefire, and Syria accepts it, and the neighbors accept it, and it was on the 4th day of the war, and they decided to launch an offensive into Syria to capture the Golan Heights. There's a quote from Moshe Dayan that he pretty much admitted years later, and he goes, on the 4th day of the war, the Syrians were not threatening us, and they still went to capture the Golan Heights after. So it is an expansionist project.
Islam to me, but they're telling me that Israel wants to take over Saudi Arabia and Iran and Iraq and Syria and Lebanon and Egypt and...
What's with the voice as well? Why is he doing this voice? They're telling me... He sounds like he's doing like a Tucker Carlson impression, like a sort of bad one.
Little Tucker in there, yeah.
Interesting. I mean, all I see is Muslim countries.
It's so funny too because this map is just inaccurate. It's just inaccurate. Like Nigeria's not a Muslim country. Eritrea is
when
like
he
a secular
looks
republic.
to the side and like animate like a DreamWorks smile. It's funny because all I see is Muslim countries. Like, bro, chill out. I know you have nice lashes, but like you gotta calm down. It's a TikTok. It's an Instagram reel.
Bro is very beautiful. He is very beautiful. I'll give him that. Yeah, it's interesting. Like you said, Chris, like he's purposely ignoring the appeal that Islam has. Like it's a unifying religion for a lot of people, and especially it borrows itself well to anti-colonial resistance, and that's kind of why this region sees such prevalent Islam, I guess. It's very easy. It's easier, I guess, to wage a struggle when you have something greater that you believe you're, being supported by, working for.
Yeah, 100%. People, 100%. I was just gonna say religion's role in like all kind of struggles against tyranny. Like normally churches and mosques and whatever are not spaces that are surveilled, so they normally tend to be spaces where in authoritarian regimes political organizing occurs within them. And like in the case of like how it might spread or why it might play such a role politically, that can't be discounted, right?
Yeah, and also like that would be like looking at Central America in the 80s or whatever and saying, why is liberation theology taking such root over here? Well, could it be because of the imperialism and they're using it as like a compounding factor to resist? I don't know. Like it lends, like these religious movements, they do lend themselves well to anti-colonial and anti-imperial struggles. I don't know if you guys caught the discourse on Twitter over the week where there was
about religion.
There were like leftists
Marxism
who were
versus
very,
Islam.
Yeah, like there were leftists who were very, I guess, disgusted by someone who converted to Islam in her adulthood or something. And then there was this huge conversation about whether or not leftists should tolerate religion or whatever, if it could be progressive. I don't know. I've always go for it.
I just don't think religion is good or bad. Like, I don't think that that's really the discourse you should be having about religion. I'm not gonna lie.
Especially
I don't know.
now. Especially
are you
about
religious?
Islam.
Are
No,
you religious at all? No. Were you
I'm
raised
not,
at all
no.
religious?
pretty like we go to church. I mean, I was baptized, but other than that, like they dipped me in and then we just kind of left. But we come back every like Easter and stuff, like to I don't even know what kind of church it was. It was just probably Protestant, but yeah, not religious at all. But I saw that discourse and I was very taken aback by the amount of like epic Reddit atheism that came out from like, I don't know, people with accounts with Palestine flags in their bio that were just being like randomly super, I mean, just Reddit atheism, but in this context, Islamophobic, 100%. Like that's
really gross.
That's the only material, like practical conclusion that comes from the decision to randomly go so hard at Islam and level social or political critiques of a religion that is currently undergoing genocide in the context of Palestine, and also critiques you would never level at Judaism in the same way. It was very jarring because it was like, you have to understand. It was just very like American or like Westerner moment kind of thing.
You brought up a really good point too. Like the timing is kind of fucked up. Like read the fucking room, guys. You're doing the State Department's work right now. Why are you targeting Islam right now as a leftist with a Palestine flag in your bio?
I think it's also kind of interesting that a lot of the criticism and such was not actually leveled, and like people weren't talking about like political Islam as well and what political Islam represents. Because by the way, it's kind of funny, you hear all these people demonizing the Muslim Brotherhood or whatever. If there is to be like liberal democracy in the Middle East, it will come through the Muslim Brotherhood, because the Muslim Brotherhood in certain countries have actually shown way more of a proclivity towards that than the vast majority of other people. And there's much to criticize about them. They're conservatives. Like the Muslim Brotherhood are fucking conservatives, like straight up. There's no two ways about it. But that wasn't really what the discourse devolved into. It was just religion good or bad, and I don't think there's anything interesting said there whether religion is all generally bad or good. It's about people's personal relationship with God, and I think that's fine.
Communal,
I think that
familial.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
you could
and
use
as well people. Oh, sorry.
Well, so you could use religion in a very reactionary way, like the way, say, like a Franco did. Or you could use it in a very positive way, like the way the liberation theologists did. I think the Soviet Union kind of cracking down on religion was probably a big mistake that they made, actually. I think if they didn't do that, it wouldn't have left religion strictly to the domain of the right, which is a very galvanizing force and can be used for a lot of good.
100%, yeah.
And greater Islam, but... Okay, I believe you guys. I'm not going to believe my eyes. Let me close my eyes and believe you guys.
That was so loud.
Yes, it's the Jews that are trying to colonize everything.
All right.
Israel is
Anyways,
the colony.
I think that we've said pretty much all we have to say about this smug, like random sarcastic shit. All right.
I think this guy should be. I think after a while, you should be just. You should just be confined to confined to Reddit. This man should be banished to do 30 years of service on Reddit. Just
Banished to
debating
the
in
Reddit realm.
r/Israel.
He has Reddit
That's-
voice, definitely.
Yeah. I don't know. This guy's also. I'm sure his Instagram will all of a sudden grow bizarrely. This guy has been at it for years. He's a very unsuccessful pro-Israel debater because he's a tough watch. I'm going to be honest. If any of you ever have the pleasure of watching his show's called The Nuclear Reaction, I'd highly recommend it. They also.
Oh, this guy. I know this guy.
This guy refuses to debate me. This guy
Really?
refuses. He keeps claiming he's banned on TikTok, but I saw him live the other day. I've invited him multiple times. I want to chat. Moderate case. I'm
Come
here.
on the show. Come on the show. I'll moderate for it. I'll actually take your side, moderate case. We'll both team up on Chris.
You can become moderate together. He
Yeah.
also
Nick Fuentes
loads of
is
his-
Wario.
This guy's really strange when you so when you see him in like a video like this, he looks kind of normal, but if you ever see like a video of his full body, and I don't want to shame someone here, he just looks really strange because he's really like small. I don't know, and because I've never seen his body, whenever I see him do a debate in real life, I'm like, wow, Jesus, you know,
Small
you look
stature?
I don't know if he's small. I don't quite know how to describe it. He's just got very like thin arms, basically. And I think he
Is
should
Chris
have
telling
bigger
him
arms.
Is Chris telling him to hit the gym? Is that what I'm getting?
Hit the line. We can have a debate about on the efficiency of time under tension versus and whether 5 reps is better than 8 reps.
That's fair. I mean, that's very loving criticism. Like, you obviously want what's best for him and his health. That's good.
Yeah, I think hitting the gym and having big arms is a good idea. It looks sick.
They're kind of like the Avengers. This guy, Matt Nuclear, and Mia Talius, like just the Zionist Avengers. Very disturbing developments.
They're also kind of international as well. You got Mia Talius, who's Israeli. You got Jewish Jess, who's British. You know, England's got his representation in
She's
there.
in Israel though now, I think.
I know she had to leave the UK because it had become so hostile for Jews. She also released
Her
like a thing
bio,
of
real quick. Her bio is: "You told me to go back to where I came from, so I did." Nobody told you that. Nobody told me. Actually, they said stay. They said don't go to Israel and stop going to Israel. Your ass went right there.
yeah. Oh God, I don't know. Like, I find it kind of crazy because, like, how does anyone view that as like normal or what indigeneity looks like? A random British woman going over to Palestine and living with Mia Talius, like, you know, that's not normal. That is not normal. That is not. In what other case of indigeneity was it just made up of like immigrants who came there over a period of time to displace the people who actually live there, and then continually immigrants coming over? It's not even like there was a set amount of people to come. No. It's like basically unlimited immigrants from the UK.
Yeah.
And where, well, not the UK, other places more than the UK, like Americans.
She's also so British. Like, I don't know how to describe it as there's like a caricature of like a season 2 England Love Island girl kind of thing. Like, that's the vibe I get when I watch it. And then not just all the worst traits of that type of person. And so it's very jarring seeing her talk about, you know, indigeneity and being in Tel Aviv. Or it's not bizarre her being in Tel Aviv, but it's bizarre thinking she, you know, has the right to be there.
Isaac, actually, instead of watching this one, can
Yeah, bro.
It won't let me. It
Post
keeps
it in
saying
the-
I'm logged out of Instagram for some reason.
Okay, tell me what to.
Fucking hell. Hold on 1 second. Instagram.
You could also just
Jewish
post the link in the chat here.
Yeah, I will. I just had to switch accounts. I just want to find her video about Keir Starmer. She also did one about apparently how the pro-Palestine movement is claiming that Lionel Messi is controlled by the Jews, which is certainly quite something. I do remember that when the call came out from Hamas to say, and Qatar to tell everyone that Leo Messi is controlled by Jews, and that's why he scored at the World Cup.
They got a good controller then, damn, because that guy's pretty good at soccer.
They're ratatouilleing him while he's playing soccer. Yeah, he actually has a wig on, and underneath there's a little mouse, and it's like Ratatouille. He's killing it.
That's an anti-Semitic trope, probably.
Okay, sorry. I didn't realize. I was just making a Ratatouille reference, nothing more.
I sent you
They got the
in
hats,
the chat.
man.
Isaac, I sent you it in the chat. Those hats are really expensive, by the way. Did you know that?
Really?
They're like
Yarmulkes?
yeah, because they're not yarmulkes. You know the big hats that people wear, the Hasidic
the
Jewish
Orthodox
people wear.
Yeah.
So in the UK, there's like this horrible guy who goes around and he like kind of accosts Jews, and sometimes he just sort of like asks them questions. And one time he was asking them like, "Where are you guys all getting your hats from?" Or maybe these are different people I'm thinking of. But anyway, he was just asking these guys like, "Where'd you get your hats from?" And they were like, and they were like, "Why?" And he was like, "'Cause I want one." And they were like, "You can't have one. It costs like £4,000."
Damn.
So
What are they
this
made
is-
out of?
Breaded
I
up.
don't know. I think it must just be because there can't be that many ultra Orthodox Jewish people who need those hats, and so they must just be made to order, and that must be the issue. Thank you for zooming in, Isaac, to make Jewish
Sorry.
Jess's face clearer.
I just realized I could do that. All right.
Thank God, Baruch Hashem. 6 months ago, I left. No, I fled Britain with a big smile on my face. Not because I wanted a new...
The double knockback continues, bro. It's going on into the 2020s.
Would you hide me? Like just spinning all over the camera. Bro. First they came for the birds. Shut up. Dude. Oh. How does someone like this get I don't get it, man.
It's also, how many times do you think she recorded it until she got that perfectly, where she got the right, no, I was kicked out of the UK. I was kicked out of the UK by Keir Starmer's woke government and threatened the Jews. Keir Starmer, right, by the way, said that saying globalize the Intifada was vile racism against Jews. He also worked to like crack down on pro-Palestine activism. He met with Isaac Herzog. Like, the level of fantasy here is amazing.
Yeah.
new adventure, not because I was having a midlife crisis, not because I was chasing the sun. I left Britain because as a proud, opinionated Jewish woman, I dealt with anti-Semitism, I faced death threats, and I was living in a country that felt increasingly hostile to people like me.
Come on, dude. That's so crazy. Like, you, first of all, like, this person you would never even know is Jewish interpersonally unless she told you. Unless she was maybe like telling people about it. I don't
It's in her
understand.
name. She's Jewish
true.
Jess.
That's the another one of those like, damn, you're gonna make your account name Jewish Jess. I'm Jewish. I'm Jess. I'm Jewish Jess, and then act like a fucking freak. Like act like a sick freak and make genocide propaganda. Like it's not
good.
It's not great PR. It's really not.
No. Yeah, it's really bad PR. It's interesting because she's also just buying into this idea that there's this anti-Semitism crisis, especially in England, in the UK, where you could say something pro-Palestine and get fucking sent to jail. You say something about Palestine action, you get sent to jail. That's insane.
Like
I know, it's
literally
insane.
arrested. Yeah.
They've completely just jumped ship when it comes to entertaining any sort of actual conversation about the topic, and they're just cracking down on speech. So the idea that Jews are like hyper-targeted in the UK, targeted at all in the UK, is ridiculous.
The idea also that as a content creator talking about Israel getting a death threat online means that you have license to go to Tel Aviv. Like that's no. If everybody did that, we'd all be there, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is my right to move to Tel Aviv because I've received some mean messages. And I've received a lot of mean messages because I'm British. So I think I should probably, it's tough.
True. True. We should all move to Tel Aviv. I told you that my grandfather took an ancestry test, and turns out he's Iranian and Ashkenazi. So I'm making Aliyah, bro. I'm making Aliyah, boys. I'm hopping over there. It was promised to me however many years ago.
Don't do
And
it.
the irony is, I moved to Israel, the country that so many people around the world perceive as so incredibly unsafe. And yet I feel a whole world safer here. Starmer promised to tackle anti-Semitism. He
Real quick.
promised to fix Britain.
The feeling safe in Israel is so interesting when they alternately in each video, one video will be, I'm terrified in a bomb shelter, I'm scared. The other video will be like, I'm actually so safe and we're out here hanging out while the bombs go off because Iran doesn't even fire good missiles. And it just goes back and forth like that, whichever story you want to tell at that moment.
Yeah,
You're safe,
100
you feel safe while bombing the entire region and getting rightly retaliated against.
Yeah, you need the Iron Dome. You need the mandatory conscription just to feel safe. I mean, compare that to the UK, where literally anybody talking, even criticizing Israel, they get sent to jail on your behalf. It's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, I don't, like, what I will say is, a lot of people who are Jewish, who are going to be targeted on the basis of being Jewish, like in the UK or something, it will be Hasidim, like Hasidic Jewish people, because it's so much more obvious that they're Jewish. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that she's not ultra-Orthodox Jewish because, well, in fact, I know she's not because, first of all, she's not wearing a wig, and second of all, because she has tattoos. Like, you're not allowed tattoos or especially not in Orthodox Judaism.
You're racially profiling her right now, dude.
Yeah, I'm doing some
Stop.
investigation, some race pondering.
Could
But
be a
I don't
stick
know if
on
you've,
she got at the plastic surgeon's office. You know, they have those tattoos. You ever go to a doctor's office? And you lick them and put them on? Right. No.
Do they have those at doctors' offices in America?
Yeah.
Really?
It's like a famous staple of maybe just in like my home state or something. But you
Did you
lick
not-
them and then you stick them on and then temporary tattoo.
It's
Did you not get them
serve
out of candy sticks? Like those like sort of chalky tasting sticks that was what ours came in, like
That's
the
what you
temporary
guys have?
tattoos.
Oh, that's way worse.
Yeah.
No, you could just stick them right on. No chalky, nasty stuff.
No. The candy sticks were good. They just they were like they just looked like chalk kind of. They were like sort of hard sticks that you would eat, and then they'd come with like a Spider-Man sticker in that you'd put on your arm. And I remember looking sick with that shit on.
It's dope. I mean, I would take the tattoos over universal healthcare. That's the American trade-off that they get over there. No
And you can
healthcare,
still
but
convert to Orthodox Judaism too.
Well, you can't. It depends. Like, you can convert to. This is what there's been going on. So when you guys
I
enjoy
saw
my
some
latest video,
discourse about that.
Yeah, I've been learning about the Jewish faith. So now, what was kind of wrong there is you could convert to modern Orthodox Judaism. Like, you
it's like
can.
3 years.
Yeah, and I think that there are some that are less strict, but there's also this thing about like halakhic conversion versus non-halakhic conversion. So halakha is like Jewish religious law, and whether you'd be accepted. And Israel's had some. Mahmoud Mamdani's dad, but his book talks about a couple of cases about like Jewish people who converted versus people who converted back, and whether they were allowed to go back into Israel or not. And also Israel counted a load of like. Are you guys familiar with Rabbi Mizrahi? The like kind of I've shown Isaac him. Have you seen him, Noah? The guy on Twitter who's like the rabbi saying insane stuff. Well, there's quite a famous video of him where he goes, "Give me 100 Israeli soldiers, half a Russian goyim," because there are actually a lot of people in Israel who are just halachically not Jewish. Like they're just not. They don't have Jewish
Secular.
mothers. Yeah, it's not even that there's. Well, he has problems with the secular. You know, they curse Hashem all day. That's what he
not
says.
halakha, right?
Yeah, that they're like. So they're like Jewish. They're non-Jewish spouses or the descendants of non-Jewish. Like that technically do not constitute being Jewish in the eyes of the Israeli state, and especially not in the eyes of like an ultra-Orthodox Jewish guy like Rabbi Mizrahi, who said that this guy, by the way, said that Charlie Kirk deserved to die because young Jewish people, he was an idol worshipper basically, and he was convincing young Jewish people to worship him or something. So he's quite an interesting guy. And he debated Sneeko yesterday, by the way, Isaac. That guy debated Sneeko.
Oh, I saw a clip of that. That's him? Okay,
Yeah.
that's hilarious.
I gotta
That's
watch
insane.
That's that guy. I'd recommend checking out
new
some of his
character.
clips. He's
Yeah.
got some great clips, I will say.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll say about the conversion thing is, especially like say a Palestinian in the West Bank, if they were to convert to Judaism, they still wouldn't actually be able to move into Israel, even though Israel claims to be the Jewish state. Oh, it happens all the time. The Israel will actively block it. So there is this sort of blood and soil element now to Judaism, specifically in the context it takes in Palestine and Israel, occupied Palestine. Because if you are a Palestinian in the West Bank and you convert to Judaism and say your spouse is a Jewish person in Israel proper, you still can't move there. And you're Jewish now. So there is this blood and soil fascistic element in the way that Judaism is understood in occupied Palestine.
It's also, I one of the interesting things, by the way, as well, just to note on this, that is actually an American racism, like about race mixing, that was really imported over with Meir Kahane. So not to necessarily say that there might be no precedent from it, but Meir Kahane was really obsessed with non-Jewish people, like tricking Jewish people into having children with them. He spoke about this. You can even find videos of him talking about it on YouTube. But there are a couple of organizations such as Lahava, which, by the way, I just want to, it actually kind of has a relevance to this. She is complaining that the UK is mega anti-Semitic. The UK's ambassador, the Israeli ambassador to the UK, formerly was a lady called Tzipi Hotovely. Tzipi Hotovely was a supporter of this organization, Lahava, which is against like Jewish and non-Jewish marriages in Israel. And also this lady like straight up doesn't believe in the existence of Palestine, former Israeli minister of settlement. And I'm currently watching a video about how this lady had to flee the UK because we got so anti-Semitic, and Starmer in particular.
Insane.
You should play the video because she's staring at me right now. It's giving me the creeps.
It is actually scary if you get entranced a little bit in the eyes.
He promised to restore trust and to bring the country together. He failed, miserably. Under his watch, British Jews watched hatred become normalised. We watched sympathisers march through our cities. We watched people excuse Jew hatred and even call it activism. There is not a single fibre in my being that will miss him. But please don't mistake my satisfaction for celebration. Because
it's so crazy because Starmer was so much of a Zionist. He placated the Zionist concerns very, very well from their perspective. I don't know what more they could have wanted. What do they want? Do they want him to just kill everybody who's at like a Palestine march? Like, I don't understand. Fuck,
probably.
Man.
Judging by this lady's content.
Yeah.
Jess is another one of the just very extreme characters. Like Mia, I think they hang out and they both live in Israel now, or she's either visited, but she's very extreme in a way that's like, I hate what Ben Gvir did because it made us look bad, and like, please stop doing that and let us do that with behind the scenes, behind the Israeli prison walls. And it's just self-evidently crazy. But yeah, I mean, she's saying like one Palestine protester was one Palestine protester too many. Like Starmer should have immediately locked all of them up right away, and don't let me see that. Don't let me, the Jews are tired. Don't let me see a flag. Don't let me see a flag. Like a Palestine
no free parking
flag,
signs around here.
No.
I think as well, someone like this, when people are like, so what happens to Jewish people and Israelis after the state of Israel is gone? We got to have a conversation about what's happening to Jewish Jess, because I'm not sure Jewish Jess, who's like a fan of just like the persecution of Palestinians, who moved over from the UK because she's such a big fan of the persecution of Palestinians, does have an inalienable right to live in a land where she's just literally a celebrant of half the population being exterminated, right? Like, is that normal?
I guess this kind of goes back to that point that Destiny made, where he's like, well, what happens if there is one state and all of the Palestinians come back? First and foremost, West Bank settlers, I think it should be a bare minimum that West Bank settlers go to jail or whatever the fuck, because they're breaking the Geneva Conventions. They are occupying that land in violation of the Fourth Geneva Convention. Put them in fucking jail, first and foremost. Get them the fuck out of there. And second of all, if you're just coming from the UK to colonize Palestine, and you can easily just go back and you just go there because maybe you want like cheaper housing in the settlements, or you just, I don't know, want an experience. You want to go experience Israel at the
You want to go live with Mia
Palestinians.
Talius?
Yeah. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, is it really crazy to request that, okay, you can go back to where you came from and stop doing colonization? Yeah, you should be able to, you should be able to request that.
Also, just being a mouthpiece of this repugnant state this like that's your thing, that like, hey, I'm the mouthpiece of Israel. I'm British Jewish Jess who's like has to be here because Israel's so awesome. Bro, I'm not so sure that we should be like acting as if this is normal. I don't think it is. It's like, it's not. It's really not.
No. There's this other video that I was thinking we should get to before, because I see that we're already 2 hours
probably
in.
one more max, yeah.
There's one, the moderate case guy, because he gives really faulty history about the 82 Lebanon invasion. I thought it would be good to correct the record there if you're down.
It might take a bit long is the only thing. Noah, how much time you got?
I probably got to hop off in a couple minutes.
Yeah, okay, then
hard out
probably
at
we'll
2,
have to leave that
but,
one, Isaac.
I mean,
Okay,
yeah,
no
you
worries.
guys can hit it while I'm gone if you want.
No, it's all
As a
good, man.
close out
We'll,
if it's a good one.
yeah,
we'll
we'll
just
call it
finish
here.
up this one, I guess.
Yeah.
Should we just finish the end of this video?
Sure.
Or...
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Leaving office doesn't solve Britain's problems. Anti-Semitism doesn't leave with Keir Starmer. The extremists haven't disappeared. The institutions that failed British Jews will still be there, still operating. And sadly, if British Jews perceive his exit as a victory, they're sorely mistaken. This isn't the end of the struggle, it's the beginning of a new chapter.
Was that ChatGPT? Did I just catch some ChatGPT writing?
It wasn't
just
this.
the-
It's that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Interesting. I mean, I've done that sentence structure before, but now I'm just like super sensitive to it when I hear it.
Totally.
Governments come and go, but the fight for the future of the British Jewish people, and frankly, the future of Britain itself, hangs in the balance and is far from over.
That's okay. Now that you mentioned it, that's 100% ChatGPT.
Right? Like
The
come on.
structure, cadence.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
the videos I've seen from her aren't that like formal, I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good
Strange.
to see that the UK has got brilliant representatives on the international stage. Thank you, Jessica, for your fantastic work. Thank you, Mia, and thank you to all of the people we met in this video. It's great to see you.
Keep up the good work.
This
Wait,
has been a
before we
long-ass
go-
video. Oh, wait,
Before we go,
oh,
I
yeah.
need to ask Noah one thing.
What's
How are you liking the Kurt Vonnegut books?
Oh, I started Mother Night a couple nights ago. It's great.
Fucking with it?
It's really good.
You like it?
Yeah, so good. It's very relevant as well. Very, very contextually relevant.
Yeah.
It's about the
Yeah.
Nazis, right? Kinda?
Yes. I'm like 2 chapters in, so
Oh, okay. I'll tell you
You go
without
ahead.
giving any spoilers. It's about like this American spy who infiltrates the Nazis and works on their behalf.
As
I'll
like a
pretty much just leave
radio
it there.
broadcast-
as like a
or
radio
as a
propagandist.
playwright?
Yeah, think of him as like a Tucker Carlson for the Nazis, but he's actually an American spy.
Damn, that's what Jewish Jazz is doing for us over in Israel. She's a spy for the pro-Palestine movement sent over there to gather information about
Yeah.
Benjamin Netanyahu
and make
Yeah.
and make them look insane.
and spread global Islam. Well, Noah, thank you so much for coming on. It's great to see you as always. And you are, thankfully, we have some guests on and they're like, oh, you can find me at XYZ name and it's something complex. But yours is just perfect because it's just Noah Samson, right? Everywhere.
My full government name. Pretty
Hell
awesome.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, no, great to chat again. Always good. We'll look forward to coming back on again, and very fun, very good.
And thank you everyone who's watched as well. Thank you for everyone who enjoyed the episode. And I can't wait to see us on the Yeet Orc 2000s. He
Yes,
once
sir.
called me. Do you know he once called me I think he called me a British F slur one time. I think I won't. With all the
His own voice?
Yeah,
He called me a
Wow.
pussy and a bitch once. Yeah.
I think he just typed. He used to be a bit more interested in like typing out stuff about people, and unfortunately, I was decried as in bigoted language by Yeet Orc
Yeah.
2000.
Goddamn.
But yeah, hopefully see you guys all there.
Yeah, see you on the timeline.
Thanks to all our patrons over on Patreon for making the show possible, with a special vocalized thanks to our top tier patrons: Izzy, The Wallace 3000, Megan Ratana, Storm's Daughter, Cedar Down Under, Riker G, Jamo, Space, Soph, and Demon Lemon.